sun-kissed skin, hues of gold and black, bronze, brown, caramel to cream. My melanin determining the intricate details of my overall theme. Coils resilient and bold from roots of Afro-textured, natural and wavy manes. An expression of my uniquely individual style. And it's a black thing. Cocoa butter saturated, sealed with moisture, hydrating my melanin enriched skin. A gift from my ancestors, my family, my kin. Welcome to the Coils and Cocoa Butter Podcast. Hey y'all, welcome to the Coils and Cocoa Butter Podcast. I'm your host, Jazz, and today we're going to go over and dive into a recent incident that I had at the beauty supply store that has gained a lot of social media attention. So today I'm going to be joined by my mom, Geneva, and my boyfriend, Kevin. And I asked them to be here today because my mom had an experience at this location, so I wanted her to be able to share her experience. And we also got some fantastic questions about how my experience happened, if she had an experience prior. So I wanted to address that question. And my guy here had a lot of opinions when I got home, and I was super fired up. So I just wanted to invite them to come through today. Thank y'all for joining me.
Thank you for
You're welcome, and thank you.
So this incident happened on March 4th, 2021. I just got off of work and I was getting my hair done the following day. So I went to the beauty supply store close to my home to get the hair that I know that they have. This isn't a place that I frequent, but when I'm getting that particular style, I know that they got what I want. So I just went in, and when I went in the store, I was actually on the phone. So I was a little bit distracted. I wasn't really paying that much attention to my surroundings, unfortunately. But when I started to pay attention, it was hard to miss this elderly gentleman that worked in the store, had a pen and paper, and he was so close to me. Like, when I'm on the phone, I kind of noticed, and I was just like, okay, what the? And I just kept ignoring it. And then I started having second thoughts about like what hair I wanted. So I was going up and down the aisle to look at different colors and stuff. And it was hair on each side of the setup. So it was hair on this side and on this side. So I would be turning and looking over here and turning to look over there. And he just appeared everywhere I was at. Like, I would be reaching, looking at, touching hair, and he would start reaching underneath me, like, and acting like he counting the hair packs and putting hair packs back just right where I'm at. Then I would walk back down the aisle and he would follow me. And then, so now this is becoming noticeable. So I get off the phone and I'm still looking, and I'm just like, in my head, like, what is really happening right now? Like, walking myself through, honestly, internally, I'm just like, okay, well, maybe it's a cultural difference. Maybe he don't know that he in your bubble, Jasmine. Maybe he don't know that this your bubble. So, I mean, I'm really just trying to rationalize until it just got to a point. It happened like 3 or 4 times. And then I get to just go back to my original hair choice that I was going to go with and start counting out the packs. And at this point, he's facing me like this, like watching me and writing with his pen. And I mean, we were probably just like, he's over here. I'm like where you are. And he's facing me like this.
Basically, what you're saying is he hurry up and buy you.
Pretty much. He hurry up and buy me. So, I mean, now I just at this point feel like I'm in the twilight zone. I got a lot of things going on in my brain. Just still like pretty confused as to the situation. So at this point, I was the only customer in the store. It was the man that was watching me this closely, it was the owner and his wife, and it was a black staff member. At this point, the black staff member, I noticed that she had been watching what had been happening this whole time. So she's standing at the end of the next aisle just watching me. So with this man facing me, I just looked up like
looking at her.
I looked at him, then I looked at her, and I said, I mean, am I doing something wrong? And then she went over there. She came to me. She acted like she was helping me. She was like, well, what color are you looking for? And she came over there and started walking with me and whispering to me, like, they do this all the time. They always follow black people. I got into it with them last. She told me she got into it with them last week about doing the same thing to somebody. And she was just whispering and talking to me as we walked down the aisle. And honestly, I'm just still processing. I mean, because I still feel like I'm kind of in the twilight zone.
So this is happening in a matter of like how many minutes? Is like, how long had you been in here when you finally realized, like, okay?
I mean, I had been in the store maybe a good 10 minutes. But y'all
10
know,
minutes too long for them.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes I'm slow and it takes me a minute. Like, and then the fact that I was distracted at first, I don't feel like I caught on. And then as I'm walking down the aisle with this lady,
them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I mean, that's
initially.
I mean, I know that that's something I have to keep working on. But yes, I do tend to. We'll get into that. But yes, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it's a cultural difference. You know, all of those thoughts going through my mind. So as the lady is walking with me, she's walking me to the front. I got my packs of hair. And I'm just still processing. And she walks me all the way to the register. And I just put the stuff down. And I shared my experience with the owner, the lady. And I said, you know, you all really need to look at your business practices and how you all go about monitoring clientele, because I felt like
why should they?
Because I felt like I was being watched and like y'all are thinking I'm gonna steal. And I mean, and you know, I was just trying to communicate. I wanted to educate in that moment. I'm still trying to have hope for some sense of humanity. Like, these people are not really just profiling me, you know. So I shared with her and she was just like still pretty much hurry up and buy me, counting my packs, looking at me like, okay, like she didn't respond or anything. And I guess I just felt like I wasn't getting a response that I was hoping for. So I just kept explaining like my experience. And then the man stood up. He was sitting behind the counter. He stood up and was like, oh no, he does inventory. He's a working man. And I said, okay, that's cool and all, but I'm a working woman and I'm telling you how I felt as a customer. I just did not feel like I was being received. I felt like I was being excused away. Like, all right, stop talking and just pay for your stuff and get out. Yeah, that's the vibe that they was putting off. And I said, okay, well, you're not really receiving what I'm saying. I understand you saying he's working man. I get all of that, but your practices are discriminatory and I did not like it as a customer. And I guess I said enough at this point to piss him off. So his voice went up like a lot of octaves and he started yelling at the top of his lungs like, no, he is a working man. And like he getting real aggressive.
Did he say he feels sorry for your mother?
He never apologized.
Don't be a menace to society.
He never apologized. He never said, I'm sorry that you had this experience. He just was defending the man and was like, no, like I just was not being received. And, we could all have our opinions about how I should have handled it, but hindsight, but I really tend to hope for the greater good in people. And like, I was really still trying to just work through the process diplomatically and educate them in that moment. But when he started getting elevated, he got me elevated. Like, now I know that you don't care. Like, you're not trying to receive what I'm saying. It wasn't an accident or a mistake. And you are trying to insult my intelligence at this point, trying to tell me this man was doing inventory. He just happened to keep doing inventory everywhere I was. No, he was following me. And I just felt like it was very disrespectful. So now the owner is yelling at the top of his lungs at me. The wife just looking stupid. Of course, I didn't snatch my car. Like, y'all not getting no business from me. So I was fumbling with my phone at this point, trying to get on Facebook Live and whatever. I had to get access and all of that stuff to my phone. So I did. It was a couple more minutes before I got the live started, but he had been yelling at me at the top of his lungs. Just real disrespectful. He started threatening to call the police on me.
Because you're sharing your.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I ain't did nothing wrong. Like, what crime did I commit? Like, and hey, that opens the door to a lot of other stuff. You calling the police on somebody for what reason? And, so that's a whole nother situation. But,
honestly, I don't know what Norwood is really kind of like today, but that area, Norwood, has a history of, violence and discriminatory practices towards people of color, Black people in particular. And growing up, that was just a community and a neighborhood that we did not go through. You didn't walk through Norwood. Maybe you came to the edge of it, but you didn't walk through Norwood. So I'm, saying that they're calling the police in that particular area honestly concerns me even more given the history of that community. And I'm not saying that it's exactly what it was when I was growing up, but I recall what it was like when I was growing up. It was just an area that we didn't walk through. We were not even allowed, from a family perspective, to cross over into Norwood. So.
And that's good to know in terms of historical perspective, because I think sometimes history tends to repeat itself, and I know that a lot of people, we always say like the best indicator of future behavior is past behavior, but like I said, I tend to err on the hoping people have grown and learned. Mm-hmm. And that might just be the context of who I am as a person and my profession as a clinician. I look for the growth in people. So it's hard to take that out of me even in those type of situations. But I definitely caught on eventually. And then at that point, that's where I was going live. They both had their phones on me, I don't know why I didn't do nothing, But what I did find interesting about that whole situation is when I played back the video, the Black lady was the one, he like calling the police on me. And I know he probably told her to do it, but I don't know at what point do you, because we could say mistakes were made on my part and like, why did you go to the store? Did your mom already? And we'll talk about that.
I didn't know this part.
Yeah, from the video, that's what it looked like, that she was the one on the phone. So, I know some people on Facebook have commented like, the Black women that work in there, like, what was this on? Like, if you seeing this going on, I don't know. I can't speak on it. I honestly like to just get her take on it.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to, in the video, I did not want to put her on blast. I just kind of glossed over, like a staff person came and talked to me to see if I was okay, because I didn't want to put her on blast. I don't know her situation. That might be the only means of finances that she has to provide for herself and her family. Like, so I wasn't going to put her on blast in front of them and risk whatever she got going on. So that's why I didn't say in the video exactly what I was told by her. But yeah. So that was my experience.
You have an experience too.
I had an experience. Oh man, it had to be.
And this was the same store, right?
This was exactly the same store. I would say it was about 5 or 6 years ago. I went into the store to do some shopping. I don't actually even remember what I was looking for. Probably something for Naya's hair. But I went into the store. I had the kids with me, who were, I think at that time, probably like 5 and 8, something like that. But anyway, we went into the store. It was a fairly good amount of people in there. It wasn't like really, really crowded, but it was a fairly good amount of people in there. Initially, I'm not really paying any attention. I'm going in there to get what I came to get. and not really paying a whole lot of attention to like what's going on other than noticing that people are there. But me and the kids went in there. I'm getting my stuff quickly. I guess they're trying to provide me with assistance because somebody is right up on me, almost as immediate as I'm in the aisle looking for the hair product. Somebody is like right up on me, but I'm still not catching, what's going on at this particular moment. And kind of the same thing, maybe not following me as close, but I look up and somebody is in every aisle. This person is in every aisle that I'm finding myself in. And so I, kind of walk through the store. The store's fairly big. I kind of walk through the store and you kind of looking at other little things. They got makeup items and whatever. So you just kind of looking at other little things. But, at this point, I'm aware, like, okay, yeah, it's some racist kind of stuff that's going on in this store. But I didn't address it at this point. The point that I addressed it at, say I moved, like I said, I moved closer to the front of the store, and I noticed like younger people coming in, like younger than me, not like kids or whatever, but I just noticed a younger kind of crowd coming in. And the lady in the front, when I noticed these first two young ladies coming in, the lady in the front told them to get out. Like they literally stepped in the door. Oh, wow. And she was like, no, get out of here. I don't want you in here and all of this stuff. So I'm like, oh, what's going on? Why is she putting them out? And then I thought, well, maybe they'd been here before and they were still in. And so she's just kind of like calling them out or whatever. I'm still shopping or whatever. Then some other people come in, totally different group of people. They walk in and they were all younger people, like maybe in their 20s or something like that. And the lady starts going off again. And so at this point, I'm like, what the hell? So I said to her, why are you treating these young people like this? They have just as much right as anybody else to come into this store and shop. Because now I know what's going on. Y'all following me. And now when these young people coming in, y'all basically telling them to go out. And so the lady told me to mind my own business. I said, sis, this is my business because these are my people. So yeah, I'm going to mind my business while I'm minding theirs. Okay. And yeah, so by this time, I've caught the attention of other people in the store. So honestly, I was like, start shouting. Like, listen, they don't need none of our black dollars in this store. Everybody that's in here buying something, y'all need to put your stuff back. You need to make a statement. You need to not buy from these people. So then they told me, if I didn't leave, they was going to call the police on me. Okay, so honestly, I had the kids with me, so I had to kind of mind myself a little bit, and I'm thinking, how old were they were like little. Naya was probably like 5.
Oh, this is a while ago.
Yeah, this was a while ago, so I haven't been in there in a while, but I made sure I said what I needed to say throughout the store for everybody to hear me, and for me to get some attention while I'm in the store before I left, because like I said, I didn't do anything to get arrested or to be, for them to even call the police on me. But, I'm cognizant of the fact that I have the kids with me and they're kind of, like they're afraid. Right. But they're afraid too. Like, they're calling the police. So I left, and that was that. And I have not shopped in there, since then. Period. I was done.
That was real dramatic.
That her story adds so much more to your story now. Because I didn't know. I've never heard. I don't think I ever heard your story. So.
Oh yeah.
I heard the story, but it, like she said, it was so long ago, and then you just get to like, oh well. No. Listen. I got to that place because let me say, like, let's just lead to it. I moved to the area, and I probably had a hair emergency on a Sunday. Let's just be honest. And I needed to look for a hair store. Just so happened that this hair store is the one open. So then I'm not.
Well, let me say there are other ones that are open.
There
on
are
Sundays.
other
They're
ones.
Not...
Wait, hold on. Did this happen on Sunday? Because you called me while I was asleep and Jenny was at school.
No, this is. I'm saying the first time I went in there.
Oh, okay.
Like, was on a Sunday.
Oh, okay.
and then they just happen to have the
Yeah.
hair that I like, and then I just go get that hair from there. I get it. Okay. When you hear how dramatic stuff is, but like also let me just defend myself slightly, just a little bit. Give me a little bit of a chance to defend myself. Like how many of us listen to their parents every time the first time? Okay, sometimes we gotta fall, slip on our face, and get it right. So I mean, and honestly, I'm someone who believes that everything happens for a reason. You know, so had I not gone through that experience, it wouldn't have got this level of attention. And all things work together for the good for those who love God, and I love God. So here we are today talking about something that had I not gone and made that mistake, like let's turn it around. Like so.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you. So
true.
that addresses some of the questions that I got. I think it's an excellent question, and don't think that I didn't hear it as soon as I got home from this one with all of his opinions. He's holding back so heavily right now. So what I mean, because that was one of your biggest things. Like, well, then it's your fault because your mama told you before.
I mean, partially, but I understand that it being that long ago. I didn't know it was that long ago, and plus, you know, the convenience aspect of it. I understand the convenience because that's partly why I mess with my own hair because it's like, hey man, it's the convenience, and I can go get different products and stuff like that. But yeah, until black people or as a whole march in step about this type of or spend our money in these type of arenas, they not gonna care about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They gonna deal with it. They gonna call the police, and the police is gonna come protect that business over whatever consumers in there.
Yeah.
And then the next day it's back to regular scheduled program because the next shorty need her hair done.
Right. I mean, and I think that sharing my video, I know some people like, well, why did you share? Y'all just need to stop going there. I think collectively, that's what we as a community of people believe. Like, we need to stop patronizing them. But also, I feel like it's important. It was like important for me to share my experience because, like you said, I'm about my people, and I want y'all to know that they ain't about us. And I learned like it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an isolated event when she told me. And by my sharing, it not only prompted me to look at reviews and to like really dig deeper into what's really going on in this location, but now so many people have shared their experience in this same location. OMG.
Wait, so the people who have been commenting and stuff like that has had a problem at this.
Yes, I mean,
Okay.
I think
Same
it said
location.
people. I mean, have said 10 to 12 years ago that this has been a problem for over a decade.
It's been going on way too long. It's time, honestly. Like you said, one person, like even me, I had my situation there. I decided not to spend my dollars there anymore, but those situations continue to happen, and maybe trickles of people, decide I'm not going to spend my dollar there anymore. But it really gets to the point where the collective has to do something. It gets to the point where honestly, I feel like these people are who they are. There's not going to be change. I mean, it's definitely not going to be change because they haven't felt the impact of taking that money away from them. Now, if they felt the impact of that, sometimes that can motivate people.
Yeah, but even if they did change, oh, we're gonna be nicer to the people based on them not getting money. That's not
real change.
It's not real change, and you didn't really,
I think the change should stem not even from the being disrespected aspect from it, just from the aspect of economically this is a black product that's being sold, but it's being controlled by a whole different group of people.
Well,
That's and even if they decide they want to act right, it's just because they want to keep making that money. It's only because of that.
Well, and then they have the monopoly. I mean, Jasmine, you could talk some statistics on that, but they have a monopoly on that business.
They have, but the real monopoly that they have is on the like that human hair thing. It's too many black people out here making hair products for like oils, different creams, whole different other things
Well,
for them
right.
to have a conglomerate on the beauty supply store.
Right, yeah, because you can, you can work with any distributor or company to get, the products that we get in jars and bottles and stuff like that. But I know, I mean, Jasmine, maybe you could share some of that, what you found out in terms of what they really monopolize, and don't try to allow other minorities to really get into those particular businesses. But it doesn't mean that it can't happen, because we know that there are some business people who own hair supply stores who are black, and then there are just other stores, reputable stores, honestly close to the area that you can buy your supplies from. I mean, not every place is open on Sundays or whatever, but there are some that are open on Sundays.
You need people in the comments to plug in what they know in these points.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I think that it requires, like you said, the collective voice, and we all have to be talking about it. Like, I didn't know about everybody else's experience. Like, so, like people, I just reading through comments, and I saw somebody said that he snatched the owner snatched the door out of their hand when they was coming in. I guess it was like 10 minutes left before close, and he told them no and snatched the door from them. Other people talked about being followed, their mom getting yelled at, resulting in her crying. Somebody, which I need to, if, whoever you were, we need to be friends. We need to go hang out or something, because she said that they was doing that same racist stuff to her, and she started knocking stuff off the shelf. Like, you my kind of person. Like, we could kick it.
Yeah,
but but I mean, I think it's definitely a macro level issue, and it kind of just trickles down, because when we talk about systemic things that happen in this country, like, we all already know, like, in order to get, like, we talking, a lot of people shout out to black women, because black women's numbers in terms of becoming entrepreneurs and receiving college degrees have went up significantly. But still, to get a brick and mortar building, or to start a business that requires some revenue to start off costs, it has historically been harder for black people to get loan approved. When this is within the last decade that we're talking, this is not back in civil rights times or when our grandpa, like, this is our time. So I think that's something that has then still historically been an issue, and I think we're pushing past that, because we're waking up and we're fighting for ourselves in a way that
Yeah, we just have to, I mean, in this particular situation, we have to determine what's okay, in terms of, are we okay with allowing them to treat us like this? Or are we going to say, it ain't no big deal, I just want to get my hair product? Or are we going to speak with our voice, speak with our money? Because money talks. Ain't that what they say? Money talks.
Yeah, and I think what was that convenience, back to that convenience issue. We got to be petty, because I've always thinking about, in any circumstance, if it was something that I can go to Walmart or some package store somewhere, but if I go a little bit further and have to spend an extra $5-10 for it from a small black owned business, I got to be petty enough to go the extra mile.
I don't think it's petty. I don't think that's the right word, but I think you got to be determined enough,
Or
and
determined to change the issue.
Fed up enough. Like, I'm gonna
That
I'm
all
gonna
that all
give
that
my
is
money.
in the same. Yeah, so it's like we have to be willing to go that extra mile, as like consumers, because it's like with everything, because like, yeah, I like these Vans black and white shoes and all this stuff that I got on, but I don't think any of this is a black owned company. So, and that not just goes with the hair care aspect of things. It's like a whole paradigm shift can happen if people start thinking in that way.
I mean, and then when, for me, like, when is enough enough? We as people of color, we have to deal with little microaggressions, and sometimes they're not even microaggressions, but we have to deal with microaggressions and racism on a day-to-day basis. And then we see the higher level things that are happening with people losing their lives, right? Enough is enough. Like, I'm tired. I'm tired of this type of stuff. I'm exhausted with everything that's kind of going on overall. It hinges on your mental health. It can just put you in a whole nother state of mind. It can do a lot of different things to you, and we just have to somehow, where we can, and with the help and support of each other, take our power back.
Absolutely.
We have got to take our power back and not allow things to just happen to us. We have to have some control over the things that we can control and create opportunities for ourselves and create opportunities for our people. And we have got to support one another, period.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of this place again?
It's called Hair Lucky. It's in Norwood.
Yeah. So the thing,
Ohio.
and I feel like the tactic ain't about like going out and standing in front of this place or whatever,
I thought about it though.
or
I have too.
trying. I mean,
that's not enough by
well,
itself.
or trying. I mean, standing in front of it to get the customers coming in to be aware of the situation.
Or stand in front of it and give flyers about some of these black-owned hair stores that I didn't learn about, and then we'll get into that too. But I think something. I'm always in a space where I want to learn and I want to grow, and I'm okay with my experience having to be put on blast and people being able to critique it, good, bad, or indifferent. If we are going to benefit from this as a people, I'm okay. I'll be that person. But something that I feel like is a learning opportunity for me was to just like consider is where I'm doing business in alignment with my morals, my values, and my beliefs, and who I am at my core. So if how you treat people is not in alignment with who like you can't treat my people right, then I can't do business with you. And I definitely I can't go back on that. Like I just gotta be committed to who I am 100% of the time, even if it's going to inconvenience me a little bit in the process.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something that I need to get on doing. Cause who would have thought? Like you think about it on a bigger level, like, yeah, I'm just pro black. I'm black, y'all. I'm blackity black, the black. Like we could buy we go out of our way to support black business, but like when it come to your hair, like and I feel like this super ties into Coils and Cocoa Butter because we're talking about black women. This is the aim of my podcast and like what we deal with as black women. And our hair is, hold on now, like, oh, I was with you, but now you talking about my hair now. Hold on now. So I feel like it's real. I feel like it's real, and we can't compromise even if it's something that we take that seriously, like our hair.
Yeah. Yeah, we want options. We have options with styles and colors and cuts and textures and and that's the part of our black experience. That's the part of who we are, and those choices should not be taken away from us. We should be able to do what you want to do to your hair. You do what makes you feel good, but you spend your dollar where at a place that's gonna make you feel good too. That's gonna value you and appreciate you. So
I was looking at we are recording this only a couple days after this incident happened. I wanted to make sure it was still relevant and why people are fired up that we got it posted. So I didn't get a whole bunch of time to do a whole bunch of research, but I did find a Essence article from October 2019. They said that we spend an estimated $2.51 billion.
who is we?
Black on black hair in the black hair care industry. And in 2017, African Americans accounted for 86% of the ethnic beauty market. So in
consumers. right?
Yes, the consumers. And
Black
black women are the ones who are doing all of this. Like, let's just be clear. So our dollars matter.
Well, I mean, while yes, the beauty stores and those type of establishments are frequented by black women, um, I feel like as you know, what I'm saying black men, we need to I don't know how to say start valuing the natural beauty of women, so they're not having to frequently go spend $300-400 on a weave on all this stuff. Cause like, hey, you could rock your fro out for like the next couple weeks too, and we'll be straight.
But
You
I
know,
think that comes with a
and
whole, like you said, paradigm shift. And this is not a thing that's gonna be solved with this episode or like with us. Because like when you think of just even about hip hop culture, like you
that's
listen
the main
to
thing I'm
the
thinking
Lil
about.
Wayne, oh, I bet she look better red, and like how we have just been trained to anything closer to European features is beautiful. I'm sitting here with African features. I literally had a black man tell me you would be cute if your nose wasn't so big. So I think it's bigger than it's bigger
that's
than
a
what we gonna
whole maybe that's a whole nother podcast,
yeah.
and you bring in different women and different opinions on that. I mean, of course, I'm natural, so I definitely believe
And I'm
in natural
natural
styles,
too.
but it is difficult. It's difficult if you don't have, I mean, even if you have locks, there's a stigma with that. Like they come for you regardless of what you're doing to your hair. It don't even make a difference if you put weave in it, you're trying to be too white, and then there's some of us who have natural hair and we just go with it. We just look however we look. And there's a stigma associated with that. So people are going to say something regardless of what you're doing. I think women in general need to do what makes them feel beautiful. Absolutely. And at some point you may come to the place where you want the freedom, because there's a freedom that comes with it, but there's work that comes with maintaining natural hair as well. And it's starting out, I won't even say starting out.
Period.
It's just difficult.
Hard.
It is difficult. We embrace our hair from a natural perspective, but it's a journey. It really is a journey. And I don't know if you ever really even arrive. Maybe you do. I don't feel like I have, but
I think it comes in waves. Like for me, some days I'm like, oh, look at me, I'm good. Like, but some days, especially when you're rushing, it's hard. But I will say something that I do appreciate from being with Kevin is that he helped me to get to that space with my natural beauty. And I'm still a person who want to change it up. I want to wear different colors. I want it short. I want it long. Because I feel like that is what is dope about black women. You could get a different version of us every 5 minutes if you want to. Like, we are versatile. And I love that about our hair. But I also think that sometimes with his self-love and his pro-blackness does not hear me when I tell him how hard it is. And then you gotta think, I have a child now, so I'm doing her hair, I'm doing my hair, and his. Like,
I offered to braid your hair.
oh my goodness. Okay.
You just learned how to do a ponytail.
So
that's a no. But that's definitely gonna be another podcast episode. That's like 5 episodes in one, because I definitely, like, this was pretty impromptu in this topic because of what happened. But I definitely have some stuff lined up, and having these dialogues about natural hair versus relaxed hair and the ups and downs, pros and cons of both.
I like to hear, I like for people to comment on this video and just kind of share their thoughts and ideas around what we can do collectively to make change happen. What can we do to support one another when it comes to maybe some people don't have options. Maybe some people live like right in that Walnut Hills area, Evanston, or just close Pleasant Ridge, close to those areas, and that place is on the bus line because they can't get to other places as easily, as that particular location. But like, what can we do? Like, what can we create? This could be a business opportunity somehow, somewhere, to get product to people. who can't get to places that may be
That is
far out. So
I didn't
maybe
even think
that's
about
a
it like that.
future business that somebody could ponder
Because
on.
what I was thinking about, well, like also like kind of like an Instacart
I was thinking
for
that too. Instacart,
hair care
DoorDash, or
products and
whatever.
stuff.
But
Yeah,
you
because
still have to get it from, not get
yeah,
it from,
yeah.
a place like that.
If the network of the black beauty supply stores linked up in that matter, that would be cool. But yeah, it is like
Or if this is like an Instacart thing, you know, you still only, the person that's buying it for you knows that this is about, or maybe the company that's kind of like over it, and then the person who's buying
but you
works for the
know,
company, but they know this is about black product and it's about supporting black business. So when I'm shopping for you, I'm going to black businesses.
but that yeah. So but that's how Instacart sets it up. Like when you go on Instacart, you only can go to the stores that they have available.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
if we do something like that, you only can go to the stores that are available. But it's a lot of people who are making products like out of their home, like just straight shipping and retail. Like if you I know I want to get the cream that I like, the oil that I like, and it's plenty of different pop up companies that are black owned companies that are making this type stuff. So especially in the convenience of today's age where you getting everything shipped to your house anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
But yeah, I really would like to hear from people. And like we said, we may have found some business, the start of some business ideas or whatever. But I think, there's been, like you said, there's been a lot of response to what happened. People are sharing this kind of like all over the place. People are having conversations about it. So what's the next step? What can we do? What can we do? I mean, can I share like what I sent, the email?
Well, you
No.
already talking about it.
Okay, well, I'm going to share this anyway. So, Jazz kind of mentioned a little bit about, a protest or something like right over there where the business is at, and people showing up on a particular day and time. It's kind of like how I envision it. And, and maybe we invite the news media out there as well to let them know, hey, we here and we have a voice and this has got to stop. But in line with that, I am reaching out to some of the local stations, and maybe we ought to even reach out to the Lincoln Ware show. Maybe that's something that he can talk about on his show. Maybe there are other people in the Cincinnati area, who can help us figure out what to do, how to do this. How do we set something like that up? So if you know somebody, or if you are that somebody and you are willing to help us get this done, like, we would appreciate that. Because we want change. This is not, this is about the conversation, but it's also about solutions as well. So I want change. I think we all want change. I think we were up to 7,000, past 7,000 people who are viewing this video, and a lot of people who are commenting on it. I think people want to see something different come out of this.
Yeah, I think collectively, the overarching theme is stop going to these places, and we need to stop patronizing them. Period. But I'm so very thankful. Like I said, if I gotta be the one, I've always told God, like, if I gotta be the one that you need to use me, Lord. Choose me. That scripture is on plaster in my office. If you need anybody to send me. I'm okay doing it. And being, I'll take it all. Take it all, because I'm clear about who I am. I'm clear about who God called me to be. But I'm so thankful that this has so many, for everybody that shared the video, that everybody that's commented, everybody that's shared their experience, because it could be very traumatizing, and
Especially in that moment.
especially in that moment.
Because I didn't realize you called me while you were there, but as soon as you called me afterwards, like, I could hear something in you. I knew something was,
I was
up. I knew
fired
something
up. Okay.
was wrong. And then when I listened to the video, I was literally in tears because I could hear the anxiety in your voice. I could, like I could hear the heightened emotions, and as a mom, like I'm ready to throw rocks, I'm ready
Throw
to
rocks. You
throw
throw
rocks. I'm ready to,
hands.
what I meant was like break windows. Like I'm ready to throw rocks and break windows, and I'm not going to do nothing like that. But I'm just saying, just to know that you were experiencing that, like my emotions got riled up. Like my heart was just beating so fast when you called and I heard your voice and I knew something was wrong. Like I'm just like, oh my God. And then I'm like, oh, it's that place. Like y'all, I was thinking the same thing. Like, why in the hell did you go there? Like you don't listen to me. Mama don't know what she talking about, but
at this point in my life, I listen about 80% of the time, which I feel like is amazing.
it's a big difference from what it used to be. So yeah, that's pretty
Amazing.
It is amazing. So, I mean, anybody who listens to their parents 100% of the time has unlocked a level in life that I have yet to unlock, and I commend these people. So, but yeah, like I was saying, I'm so super thankful for everybody that has shared. For the most part, all of the feedback has just been right in line with what it is. Whether you agree with how I handle it, whether you didn't, it's been respectful. And we had a couple of outliers that was like, like I don't know how we try to promote the Black community by saying, sis, you got your A whooped. I would like to address that. I did not get my A whooped in this process. The only honest, like y'all, I do not condone violence. I am not that person. But if it went that direction, I was not at risk. I was the only one that wasn't at risk. Okay?
Another thing about this type of situation is,
I just needed to make that clear.
another thing about this is like I've noticed that I've seen a couple different videos like this, across the nation, and
Yeah.
one common denominator I've seen in a situation is usually uh, a man that works there
Mm-hmm.
causing the problem, but the woman that he's into it with never has a man with her, and that is, it's not. I wouldn't say it's puzzling, but we already know the reason
Oh,
why.
absolutely. It would have went it wouldn't even happen if he was with me.
Right. Exactly. There's another, and that's a
a
whole
great
nother
point.
podcast too, though. But we need our Black men.
Oh,
Period.
come
Point
on,
blank.
come
So,
through. Yes, we do.
we need our Black families. We need our Black men. Period.
Period.
So I'm not gonna get into all of that, but yeah, you're exactly right. It would have went down a whole nother way.
What you would have did?
The thing is,
it probably wouldn't even happen. It probably would not have even happened.
I mean, he was trying to intimidate me. Like his stance, his nonverbals, he was trying to intimidate me.
And that's what they're gonna try to do to women, to Black women.
To women in general, but
with me, once we would have noticed that that's what he's doing, he's just keeping tabs on you, and then the lady came and let you know that they always do this. Oh, like, for real? Oh yeah, but let's just leave.
Yep,
and that would have been the end of that.
Yeah,
and
you probably would have caught on faster than me too. I ain't gonna lie.
I probably would. But it's like, that would have been the end of that. We just left. I'd be having no problem. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna say cancel culture, but like, hey man, I ain't got to spend my money over here anymore. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. And I'll do that regardless of where I'm at. If I feel like something like that is going on my radar, then I'm not going to spend money in there. I don't care. I don't care if I got a cart full of stuff and you treat me a certain way. I'm going to leave that cart right there for you to put all that stuff back up. And I'm going to grab myself up and I'm going to leave. Like, I'm not going to support your business because you're not going to treat me any kind of way and then still want my money.
I think that's who I am 99% of the time. Like I said, we gotta get to that 100. Cause I will quickly. If I walk into a store and you ain't speak, oh yeah, it's time to go. So maybe like check reviews. Like when I went back and looked at the reviews for this place, they were terrible. Yeah. And people were actually already sharing some of their experiences in the review section. So
and that hasn't caught their attention. So
They
everything
know
everything
that
that's been
hasn't caught
done,
whose attention? The store owners.
yeah,
It
yeah,
won't
they
get their
don't
attention
care.
as long as everybody.
Keep coming in there spending money. That's
but it's
great.
not. I'm not saying it for their attention. I'm saying it for
for our,
us.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. It
yeah,
has to
Yeah.
be for our attention.
Yeah, I mean, something else that we learned about since this whole situation happened is a Facebook group called Voices with Choices. And can you talk? I mean, what did you learn about that group?
I mean, I don't really know a whole lot of about the group, but let me tell you what I have seen and the little bit that I do know, and I really want to even connect with this group even more. Is basically it's about highlighting businesses that have discriminatory practices towards people of color, Black people, and communicating that through this Facebook group so that we know where to not spend our dollars. Now, what I don't know is if there are other actions that are coming out of that. You know, that part of it I don't know, but I do know that it's a wonderful group to look through, to scroll through, and to see the information that they have out there where people are sharing their experiences across, the tri-state area, with how they're being treated in these different businesses. So it's a great start.
Absolutely,
It's a great start.
man. I mean, yeah, it's yeah. I will be following that page.
Yes, me too.
Something else that great that has come out of this is outside of just all the responses, people sharing their stories. Black women like volunteering. If you want to talk to the news, I will be with you, like, to do that. That is the core. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it, because that is what the core of this is about. It's about empowerment. It's about being there for our sisters, for our brothers when we need to be. This is what I'm saying. When we need each other the most, like, I will fix your crown for you. I will affirm you. I will be there for you. So thank you for all of the beautiful messages, all of the offers, all of the, just wanting to even check in on me and how are you feeling. I will say, I'm a fiery personality type. I'm not easily scared or startled, and if this was going to happen to anybody, I'm happy it happened to me, because this could have broken somebody, and just really seeing the world for what it can be. It's hard. It's hard to process. It's hard to think about. It's hard to even think, like, just when you walk into a room, it doesn't matter about how great of a person you are, how much you do for your community, how much you advocate for people. They don't know my story, but I was perceived to be a certain type of thing just because of the color of my skin. And I was so fired up. I know I didn't halfway share my whole life story. I told y'all about my mama, told y'all about my daddy, told y'all about my degrees. I was mad. Like, I was just, when I get, yeah. So, but it's just a lot of beautiful things that have come out of this. And I'm not going to let them win. Like, they will not win. They already didn't lost. But something else that has come out is people sharing Black owned hair stores that I did not know that were in the city.
And we're gonna collect that information and start to share that out.
Well,
And maybe
everybody
even with
share
that
that.
voices, everybody definitely should share. And maybe we should put that in their voices with choices as well, so that people can understand where they can go.
Like, if you can't go here because they like this, like, this is a good alternative.
And I would say not only like the hair stores, but also people who making hair care products who got their online businesses too. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So some of the ones that some of the people on Facebook have offered as ideas, and thank you y'all again. Envy Essence Hair and Beauty Supplies, which is in Fairfield, on Dixie. And somebody else said it's one called B&B Beauty Supply on Coleraine. I haven't been into either one, and I didn't fact check to make sure, but those are some that people have offered as alternatives, which I do appreciate, and I hope that we all can. This is not a me thing. This is all of us thing.
Yeah, something you said too, and this is kind of like in line with the whole vision, of Coils and Cocoa Butter, and just the things that we're starting up, is that whole support, that whole system of I got you, that whole system of let me help. That's what we're about. Not just as a family, but with the things that we're putting out here. That's what we're about, and this is just an extension. Absolutely. And so I appreciate as a mother, I appreciate the people who have reached out to my daughter and who are loving on her and supporting her and even checking her a little bit because
I'm cool
she
with
needed
that too.
that,
I mean, that's the family that I came from. So
Yeah,
I'm cool with that too.
yeah. She'll get it from the family regardless. But I do appreciate people doing that.
As do I. So like I said, I just hope that my experience can be a learning opportunity for all of us. I'm not seeking sympathy at all. Um, it's sad that it happened. It's sad that we have to live in this type of world but I want to make sure that I'm doing my part to take strides for my niece and my nephew and my daughter so that we can change some of this stuff generationally. And our ancestors did the work and we got to do the work too. And that doesn't mean that it's not going to be bumps and bruises and learning opportunities and regression and progression in the process. Obviously I had some of those moments and teachable moments even for me, but I'm still standing, and we are still standing, and they did not break us as hard as they tried. So just want to allow this to continue to be shared and for it to result in something more than just people getting a pat on their hand like, oh, well, don't do that again. Like, no, they need to know that we see them and we ain't here to play no more. So I told you all a while back, we were working on some new and exciting products and some new and exciting things with Shades of Brown. So I wanted to introduce our newest piece of the Shades of Brown business venture. We have a new business where we're going to be doing our inspirational line and merchandising product called Hope at Midnight. And we've been working really hard to get a lot of our products started and get ready. We're going to have everything up and running by April.
Yeah, so we're gonna introduce some Mother's Day products, and we'll have some giveaways and gift baskets and raffles and things like that. But we're gonna start to kind of launch Hope at Midnight as a part of Mother's Day. But we're gonna start a month in advance to kind of give everybody a preview of what's to come, and then if folks want to order any of the product, because of some of the lead times, we want to make sure we're putting that out there ahead of time. We already have some sponsors, and so we're using some of our sponsors to help share out the Hope at Midnight brand. And also, they're kind of like our models. They're providing some things for us so we can customize some products to their particular needs, and we can use that to share that out with you so you can see what we're working on and what we'll have available for Mother's Day.
So we have a couple of different pockets of the Hope at Midnight. For the Shades of Brown, the goal is to uplift the kingdom. Number one, the kingdom of God. God has to get the glory from what we're doing and promoting the culture. So that means we're about our people. We want us to be educated. We want us to know what's going on with us, so we can continue to grow and to learn. So this is one T-shirt that we're gonna have available. One design. It says "Power Praying." So going to God in prayer, that where you find your power. It has a little, heart with muscles. Another design T-shirt we'll have is battle tested. So those of us who have been through some storms and we have gone through some stuff and God has pulled us through, we've been there and we know how to fight. So we're battle tested. And then on the back, I added a scripture from Judges 6:12. It says, "The angel of the Lord appeared to him and said, 'The Lord is with you, mighty warrior.'" So for those of us that are battle tested out there, to be a good design for y'all. Another design, and all of this will be not only just T-shirts. We'll have cups available, some mugs, and other things like that with these same designs as well. Another design that we've been working on. It says, "I come with facts, fire, and faith." So those boss, beautiful Black women out here who come with the passion, who come with information, because we know we're educated, and faith. Period. Faith is what it is. So unapologetically. So those are some of the designs that we'll have available in t-shirts and on some mugs as well. We'll also have, with Shades of Brown, I believe in the power of the tongue and what we put out into the atmosphere. So affirmations have been really important to me as a mom. I make sure I affirm my daughter and my niece, and I tell, I make sure it becomes a daily thing that we do to speak life into our situations. So the affirmation line, my mom has been working really hard on it.
Yeah, and so just to let you all know, all of this, like Jazz said, is anchored in our belief, a strong belief in God, and how what He's done for us and our family, and what we owe back to God's people and to people in general. So, like Jazz said, affirmations are really important, and I just want to share a couple of the affirmation line that we have now. These, you can see these. This particular one is for Genesis. That is my granddaughter, Jazz's little girl. And then this other one is for Nyasia. They both have affirming words on here that we speak into their lives. These are customized pieces, customized in terms of the words that we have on here. We wanted to make sure the words fit, our kids. And so my daughter, who's 13, there's some very specific things that I want to make sure she's affirmed with, and she always understands. Like hers says, I love my sun-kissed skin. I am beautiful. I love my curls, kinks, and coils. I am gifted. I am uniquely me. I am strong. I am confident. I am enough. So we do custom affirmations, and Genesis says, amazing, beautiful, smart, worthy, capable, loved, and enough. And this could actually be put on any particular affirmation for any girl. We'll also have a boys line as well. These, like I said, are customized pieces, but we also have generic pieces as well.
And before you get into that, this is acrylic.
Yeah.
So, and you can hang this is the back of it. You can, it comes with a little strip, so you can hang it on your wall. And we will be, in terms of the personalized pieces, we will be taking like pre-orders, which will require a deposit and only a certain amount of personalized pieces in a month. But we can personalize those.
Mm-hmm. So we have the personalized pieces, and then we have like just pieces that you can just buy right out. These will be available right away. And like Jazz says, they can be hung, or you can purchase a stand, and you can sit it on a table, on a desk, or wherever you want to put it. And also, like Jazz said, these are in acrylic. These are sturdy. They look really good. And you can put them wherever you want to put them. Now, we also have a line that is affirmations for our Black women, for us to love on and support one another. And so I want to say that this also is a part of my journey. This line, and this isn't the whole line, I just want to show you guys a few pieces. This line pertains to my journey in life and things that I had to figure out and learn, so that I would feel good about who I was, so I would understand who I was. And so this particular piece, also in acrylic, all of these pieces are in acrylic. You can mount this on a wall. You can kind of put pieces together if you wanted to kind of put it on a display in a wall. But this also comes with a stand, so you can put it on a table if you wanted to. This one, as you see, is about worth. As you see, you're going to see Black women on all of these pieces, but we also have like a generic line or pieces or with pictures on it that can be used by anybody. So more nature type of pictures versus actual people, but the wording is pretty much the same. So I just want to share a few of those. That one is called Worth. You are more, never settle for less. And then there's a scripture on there. And then this one is Beauty for Ashes. God's glory and greatness will shine through every broken place we've ever encountered. That's Beauty for Ashes. We know we've all been in broken places, and understand that the power of God is going to bring us through. We're not lost. Absolutely. And even with our worth, nothing defines who we are but God. God validates us at birth. before we enter into this universe, actually, God has validated us, and we can't allow anything or anybody else to validate who we are, to validate our importance. Only God.
And I think that has been important on my journey as well. Like something that I have been doing in my private study time of the Bible is finding what God said about me, who God said that I am. So that when you come against opposition, when you come against somebody or something or some force telling you that you are less than, you can affirm yourself. So that has been important for me to, like, a lot of these have scriptures on them, but what did God say?
Right, yeah. And these are meant to be seen. These are meant, the way that I can envision some of this, if I have different things around my house where I can look at, and that's my daily dose of God. That's my daily dose of inspiration. That's my daily dose of encouragement. And that's what these are intended to do. They are intended to remind you on a daily basis who you are, to remind you of the beauty and the power that you have, to remind you that there's always hope. There's always encouragement. You will have better. You will do better. So I'm going to show these last two pieces. These are actually my favorite pieces. You want to hold one of these for me, Jazz?
This one is my favorite.
Well, this is her favorite. And this is called Never Forsaken. And the scripture on here, on both of these, is I have been young and now old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Y'all, ain't that the truth? When I hear the word of God like that, it just does something to me. It just uplifts my spirit. But yeah, God has never forsaken us, regardless of what we're going through, regardless of what we're dealing with. God has not forsaken us. These particular pieces, if you notice, they all have the black backing. I think that they just more of a polished look to these particular pieces. And with all the pieces, they can be put on a stand, like I said, and you can place them somewhere, or you can hang them, whatever you want to do. You can buy them individually. You can buy the series. It's kind of up to you and what you want to do. But we wanted to kind of show you some of the things that we're working on, some of the things that are going to be available. And this is just the beginning. We have other projects underway, devotion, a journal.
Yes, for those of you who have been with us throughout the Prayer Watch Challenge, we have a Prayer Watch journal coming up. So yeah, I don't want to get too much away, but we will have that available sooner than later.
And we're going to also have, if you notice, I don't know if you guys saw the pictures, you probably can't see the pictures behind us, but we're also working on some wall art that you can just hang up on your wall with your daily affirmations kind of written out. This is for, us, it's for men, it's for women, it's for, adults. But there's also a line of wall art that's coming out that will have different affirmations that you can see when you get up every day. If you're like me, I have sticky notes. I've been the sticky note person. Well, I've been trying to get away from that, and I want something that I can decorate my house with. And like Jazz said, we can do some custom orders. There'll be a limit to that. You can choose from different backgrounds. We'll create it for you. And as an example of that, I had someone ask me to create something for them to put on their wall that matched their bedroom set. So Valencia here, my sister, asked me to create this for her. So I basically got the colors that were in her room and I added that in here. I added some affirmation on here. It says, I dreamed of love and saw my own reflection. And that really kind of gets to self-love, understanding who you are. And this was another piece that was created for her bedroom. It says, loving myself begins with understanding the fullness of God's love for me. So that was also a custom piece that was created just for Valencia so that she can decorate her home with that. So we do custom work, and we also have things that are just kind of available in general.
Mm-hmm. So like I said, the Hope at Midnight site will be launching in April, where this stuff will be available. Until then, continue to follow Shades of Brown. Her page, my page, will be giving updates along the way. Follow us on SoundCloud, Coils and Cocoa Butter Podcast, Facebook, Coils and Cocoa Butter Podcast. Special thanks today again to my mom, Geneva, who is the backbone of Hope at Midnight right now. Also for Kevin, who we lost in the process, but he does all of the audio. He is the one who put together all of the music for our intro, our Coils and Cocoa Butter intro. They are my business partners. They affirm me. They help me through the process. I come up with ideas and they deliver on some of them. It's amazing. My mom created the poem for the Coils and Cocoa Butter podcast. This is a journey. This is a family business. This is something that we're doing for the kingdom and the culture.
That's right.
So thank you for allowing us to share with you guys today. And just be blessed.
Yeah, be blessed, y'all. Thanks.